My name is Deborah Yusuf, and I am here today with engineer Debo Onifade. He is the author of the book Liberating Nigeria, a guide to winning elections and reviving our country. We forward by Mr. Femi Fani, the senior advocate of Nigeria. He is also the founder of the Nigeria's #1 online political forum, www.liberatingnigeria.com. This book is available on Amazon, and in Nigeria you can place an order online from doylon.ng, rhbooks.com.ng, or simply send a mail to liberatingnigeria@gmail.com to make inquiries and place order for the book. The free ebook is also available on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel by simply clicking the subscribe button below this video, and register at www.liberatingnigeria.com to join our movement to revive Nigeria. Our vision is to enlighten, organize, and influence 5 million first-time voters by 2023 and 20 million voters by 2027. Welcome to the program, Engineer Onifade.
Good to be here. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm fine. Thank you.
I can see that.
Okay. Let's have a discussion in the shortest time we can. So I'd like us to start with the petition that has been signed by over 16,000 people across all social media platforms demanding the probe of someone that people popularly know as Jagaban, the godfather of governors in Lagos State. That's Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So if you remember, a few years ago, there was a picture that went viral online of a bullion van that was seen allegedly driving into his compound. According to the report, that bullion van contained large amount of money. And so Rena Omokri, a former aide to ex-president Goodluck Jonathan, has come out to say that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission should probe him, that he shouldn't just go away with such large amount of money. The source of that money should be known, and that petition has gained above 16,000 signatures, as at this morning. What's your take on that?
Thank you so much. So I don't really know what Rena's objective is. I try to determine people's objective. Sometimes some people just want to make noise. Some people, I don't know exactly. I don't know what groups he belongs to. I don't know who he affiliates with. Is he a PDP guy? Is he clamoring for change? And is that born out of his desire to say something negative about an opponent, or is it just talking like an activist? For me, that's hypocritical. When people do that, and I don't understand why there's a lot of I get it. Don't let me say I don't know why there's a lot of anti-Tinubu elements now. I don't understand why they never did that to anybody else. And the example they are giving,
you saying?
Okay, go ahead.
Are you saying that a call for the probe of him is anti-Tinubu?
So this example is a funny example. Now,
okay.
If, bullion van going to somebody's house is it's a funny example, because in Nigeria, there's nothing inappropriate about that. There's absolutely nothing inappropriate about that. Banks make their decisions. I remember several years ago that I went to Ghana, and Ghanaians were telling me that when Nigerian banks came to Ghana, that was the first time the banks would tell churches, we can come collect money on Sunday. You don't need to bring it to the branch. And the Nigerian banks will send bullion vans to churches to collect cash. So that's the choice of the bank. If somebody says, I need money, the law doesn't prevent you from withdrawing 200 million. There are certain penalties you pay if you withdraw too much. And if you withdraw too much, you pay the penalties. And so there's no law barring you from withdrawing a lot of money. And if a bank says, "Oh, we're going to bring it to your house," just as they would say, "I will come to your church or to pick money." I mean, I have had in the past, I've had banks, tell me that I can come to your office to pick, to collect money, to collect your check, to collect your cash. So that's not a good example for them, really. If they have
Mm.
issues about corruption, serious corruption, say the man stole money, that's a legitimate thing to talk about. But if you are trying to make noise because William Van went to somebody's house, the same way the
It's not
William,
substantial.
that's not a point. The same way William Vance would go to churches, or William Vance would go to, I shouldn't advertise, but when I don't know if it's still like that in Nigeria. Well, maybe not so much again because of POSs. But William Vance will go to petrol stations. They will go to Mr. Big's Tantalizers many years ago. They will go there to collect cash. Maybe again that may have reduced because of POSs. So that's not an example to me that they should be talking about. If the man has stolen money and is in court for that, and the government is not pursuing it, then you can make noise. You can talk. There are a lot of cases in Abuja, a lot of corruption cases where the governors have been able to subvert justice, where the attorney general is not doing much. So those are the cases I think people should make noise about, where there has been glaring evidence, that the newspapers people have seen. We have seen that this person actually stole, and the government is trying to sweep it under the carpet. I think those are the ones we should talk more about. But frivolous things, when sometimes people tell me, "Oh, but he has a lot of money, he's very rich." I'm like, why do you bring up things like that? You have to find specific corruption cases and then talk about it. You can't just say because Atiku is very rich, it means he's a thief, or because Tinubu is very rich, it means he's a thief, or Buhari becomes rich tomorrow. No, you can't just say that. You have to demonstrate something. You have to demonstrate. You have to give examples, specific examples, so that people can support you. Oh, I lost you. So that's my view. I don't hold brief for anybody, but I don't like just um, let's see. I don't like just making noise because of rumors. I think that's not a good use of time. I think he should talk about specific cases. I'm aware that there's a day, I think Debo Deji, his name is, who has actually petitioned the EFCC. That's the guy that should be talking. Let's see what are the petitions. I haven't read that anywhere. I just read they have petitioned EFCC. What are the petitions? That's what you should throw out. Throw out, you can publish those kind of petitions so that people can talk about them. Uh, but when you just say somebody is because somebody is rich, he's a thief, because there's bullion van, I think that's childish.
Okay, I accept your
But again,
opinion.
I support people being called out, But I just think we should be more specific, and we should be more. I don't know what word to use. We should be more reasonable when we're calling people out. If you say something like XYZ, this we have an evidence that his code of what he declared his asset declaration as at 2000 was 1 billion, and suddenly he's worth 200 billion. What businesses have you been doing? And if Tinubu is an example that is difficult to talk about like that, because people people can talk about his businesses. It's not one of those politicians you can't highlight. He has newspapers, he has different businesses that people know about, and there's a rumor that he owns the tax, this popular tax company. I don't know if he owns it or not, but people can talk about his companies, construction, media. So he's a guy that can actually respond to you easily and say, I have 20 companies, these are the companies, and this is the money we make. So you have to really be specific for you to nail down that kind of person. But there are some politicians that have zero businesses, zero. When you talk about even Atiku has businesses that he can talk about. Now, I'm not saying any of these people are not corrupt, but it's not easy to just rubbish people like that without specifics, especially people that have businesses. You understand what I'm saying? There are some politicians that have zero business. That's very easy. You can't, if you have zero business in the last 10 years and you're a multi-billionaire, then somebody can ask questions. But if you have businesses and then, Bullion Van is carrying money, that's very, very easy for that politician to dismiss. To me, that's not the kind of agitation that I really enjoy. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, let's move away from that because of our time. So I would like us to talk about the security outfit that's been set up by the southwestern governors. That's Amotekun. So the federal government has is making plans to take control of this security outfit, but the governors have come out to say it's not going to happen. Specifically, governor of Oyo State, that's Shea Makinde, said that from where we are here, the biggest challenge so far is in the area of security. And then he went further to say that the federal government cannot take control of the security outfit, that it to be solely owned, managed, and controlled by the state government. So the question I would like to ask you is, do you think it's a good idea that the state government should take control of it? Do they have the enough resources to really control the security outfit?
So I really don't understand when federal government just talks from different sides of their mouth, especially Garibat Shehu. I don't really get him sometimes, and I think he needs to probably be briefed better. I don't know if he got his brief from the DIG or AIG or the IG. Clearly, the discussion from the beginning had not been that the states were going to pay for a federal government initiative. I'd never read that anywhere. I didn't read any state saying, we're going to pay for your initiative. And I know no state governor is going to agree with that because they are broke. Most of them are broke. What I'm aware of is that some states, including the southwest and the southeastern states, have agreed or have decided to create their own outfits, and they've agreed to pass state laws to again based on AG recommendation, because the Attorney General said that you cannot have anything regional. The Constitution does not recognize southwest, southeast, but you can pass laws in your states. They had discussions. The governors and the Attorney General had discussions, and the compromise was you need to find a way. You need to find different ways to individually legalize this security infrastructure, whether it's Amotekun or whatever you call it. And the states have done that, and the states will pay for that. Any state that has set up an Amotekun or whatever you want to call it will pay for that. There hasn't been any argument on that. So if the federal government wants to start a community policing project, it's great, but it's hard. It's impossible for you to start something from Abuja and then say the states will pay for it. So personally, I support the federal government initiative. It's good for them to consider community policing. But that should be independent of what the states are working on. The Amotekun has come to stay. I fully support Amotekun. Because even the Northerners have had that in the past. I don't know why people are concerned about it. Many states have had such in the past. And Amotekun is going to be run by individual states. The states will fund Amotekun. I'm aware that many states are collaborating with banks and private companies to help them to provide funding, adequate funding for Amotekun. And I think that's brilliant. Federal government should not expect the states to get money from banks and donors and then give federal government staff. So I think both of them should be run separately. They should complement one another. Amotekun is not going to solve the problem. Remember, Amotekun is not going to be run by police. It's going to be staffed by individuals, local people, hunters. I think that the community policing by the federal government is going to be a little bit more formal. I don't think they plan to hire hunters. Uh, so both can work together, and I think that maybe community policing can focus on intelligence gathering,
Okay.
focus on spying and things like that. I think that's good. While Amotekun can focus on operations, local operations, forest operations, and things like that. So I support the governors, and I know they're not going to pay. The governors don't have that kind of money. Even
Okay.
Amotekun, they're not going to. There's more noise than they will do. I don't think they can afford to pay a lot of people, even for the Amotekun. But I think that what might happen for the Amotekun is some states have done some things in the past. For example, in Ogun State, I don't know if the current governor has retained it, but there was something called vigilante group which was supported by the Amosun government. And I remember at some point, I know that I visited the office at some point in Abeokuta where I know that, and it was really funded. I don't want to use government provided support. Let me use that word, supported by the government, where you can go to their office and hire them. You end up paying for their staff. So they train a lot of people, and they have a network where they can communicate with one another. But they don't necessarily. It doesn't mean the government pays everybody. So if you have a school and you want to hire two of those
The
people,
officials.
you can hire two of the officials and pay them monthly salary. But the officials have been authorized, have been licensed by the state to hold weapons and to also communicate. So they have a hotline with the police. So if they have problems in that school or whatever property you have, they can communicate with the police. I think they have their license is limited in terms of the ammunition they can carry, but they have some form of ammunition license and relationship with the police. And that's the way I see Amotekun. I think Amotekun is going to be something like that, and you don't need federal government for that. It's like, so I think they might probably hire maybe 5,000 people, and they might train them, and they might say some of them will not earn regular salaries, some of them might provide support to villages, and villages might pay them. So the Amotekun is going to be free to do whatever they like, if as long as it's within the law. I haven't read the Amotekun law, but I'm expecting that it will be quite flexible, so that if we are in a village that is threatened regularly by Fulani herdsmen, we can probably tell the government we need 500 Amotekun people, and if government state says, "Hey guys, we can only fund 250. Can you guys contribute money as a village to fund annual monthly salary for 250?" I anticipate that that would happen. And some states, some villages can say, yes, we will. And government will say, okay, fine, we'll give you 500 Amotekun trained staff that can provide 24 hours watch. So some people work at night, some people. So that's what I expect the states to create, something that will be localized. And I don't expect federal government to want to regulate that. So it's going to be different. And I'm surprised. I don't expect this kind of argument at this time. I think we've gone past this state. And Garba Shehu needs to be better briefed. I think he's getting it wrong. I think he probably should be better briefed, so that we can get it, we can overcome this confusion.
All right, then. In a few minutes, I'd like us to talk about the video that surfaced online of former Nigerian Minister of Aviation, that's Femi Fani Kayode, where he was saying, insulting, verbally attacking a reporter in a press conference he had in Calabar. In his words, he literally called the reporter stupid for asking him the question, "Who is bankrolling your tour?" Remember, he's been going on 12 some southern states for some days now, and so he was going all out and saying, well, why would you ask me that question? He considered the question an insult on his personality and all. Well, meanwhile, he has also come out to withdraw the word he used, that he's come out to say he's withdrawing the word stupid that he used for the journalists. So do you think that, I know you wouldn't consider that a good action from a former minister?
Oh, absolutely. And I later watched other videos and I realized that that was not the first time he would sound like that.
Exactly.
So, personally, I don't take Femi Fani Kayode seriously. I think that I've read a lot of his articles. I don't agree with him many times. He has this view that he's a Christian supporter, Southern defender, and things like that. And because of his accent, like somebody said, and he went to Cambridge. He likes to make a lot of noise about that. And so for me, it's part of the elite. It's part of our problems. And like I'm an anti-elite guy. It's part of our problem. It's not one of those new breed politicians we talk about. That you've gone to jail doesn't make you an activist. And sometimes when he's talking about is anti-Muslim, he sometimes makes some very wrong statements. I'm a liberal guy. I support both religions. I believe that there are extremists, of course, in Islam, but a lot of good people. Southwest, like I have a lot of Muslim cousins, Southwest people, and I've read the Quran. I understand Islam a lot. I don't sometimes Femi Kayode is not correct when he's making assertions about those things. Um, and but I must say though that he understands history. He knows a lot. That's the truth. But then when you see Femi, okay, when this 5G conspiracy theories came up,
Yeah.
and FFK was forwarding fake fake videos and saying, "Oh, you need to watch everything. It's facts." And I'm surprised that he was actually sharing videos that were absolutely false, like fake. And I think when you are smart, you shouldn't behave like that. When you are a brilliant person, when you're a learned person, you have to um, take your time to look at the sites and check history, check other things. So in that way, I think he's messed up many times, and so I don't see him as an authority for the Yoruba people or for Christians or for whoever. I just see him as a PDP man who continues to support PDP at all times, and that's why he went to Cross River State. So if I want to evaluate him based on that, I don't blame him. Politicians will say whatever they want to say. If I evaluate him based on that premise of, uh, you
Okay,
know,
but then do you think that he was bankrolled, or you
abs-
think
uh,
he's
of course,
capable of
uh,
carrying out
uh,
such
of
activities
of
himself?
course, of course. Why would he be in Cross River? The guy that asked him the question knows why he asked that question.
Okay.
These politicians, these journalists, they know what's happening. He asked them the question because he knows that he's been let me not use his word. He has
Sponsored.
exactly. I believe it's my opinion, and I might be wrong, that he's been sponsored. Why would you leave Lagos to for what? Are you the governor or the president? You leave Lagos, you're touring um, Cross River State, especially a governor that has largely failed. So he can't say that, so the guy asked that question because he knows what's happening. So, and FFK is a politician, and he needs to admit that. And there's not no reason to be ashamed of that. Like I've always told people, but he's not the new breed politician. That's my view. He is just like Erufai. He's a traditional politician. It's not the kind of guy that we need to look up to. He's one of them. He's an elite. He's an elite. And we need to evaluate based on that because he's a politician. If he calls somebody stupid, and we measure him by their standard, that's okay in their standard. They can use foul language. They can say whatever they want to say. That's to me very disrespectful. That's something new breed politicians should not do. We should run politics respectfully. But for those people, for that group of traditional politicians, I think it's pretty common for them to use uh, such languages, and I think that are you back? Hello.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.